Good evening, fans of Dota 2. Greetings and salutations. It is Badger, once again casting some League of Lads Season 6 action. We have a matchup tonight between the DarkW side and the Gank Squad side. On paper, certainly a bit of a one-sided matchup. DarkW currently are number 2 in the standings, sitting over at, let's see here, let's look at the standings real fast. They're technically tied for number 2, sitting at, what is that, 12 and 3? 12 and 4? 12 and 4. Meanwhile, Gank Squad having a bit more rough of a season, sitting over at 3 and 15. But this is Dota 2. Anybody can win. And we are seeing some strong heroes already picked in the draft. Puck, first pick overall into Death Prophet, second pick overall. Likely going to see the Puck in the middle lane for Mike Hanmingzi. And we'll probably end up seeing Death Prophet. I'm trying to tell what we're to see Death Prophet just yet. Could be a 4, could be a 5, could be a mid, could be a 3 perhaps. You never know. We see a similar bit of ambiguity with that Monkey King. We do have a bit of flexibility there. Could be a 3, could be a mid. Probably going to be a carry for Apex though. So you never know what's going to happen in that front. I believe everybody that's supposed to be here tonight is here tonight. I'm pretty sure Gank Squad has their normal squad. I want to say Big Iron is Eddie, I think. So I think they have their normal squad. And then I want to say Brodo is Sasquatch, so they also have their normal squad as well. So should be everybody that's supposed to be here in the lobby. No stand-in action tonight. And we will end that first phase with an Ursa being picked. That is almost certainly your safe lane carry for Gank Squad. And now we get into that second ban phase. Should be a little bit interesting because a lot of these drafts you see a lot of supports being picked in the first phase. This time a lot less supports being picked in the first phase. So we might see some, there is OD banned, Wyvern banned, Shaker banned, Nyx banned already, so a lot of good support heroes are banned, but there is room for more than, like, say, Staffire to get banned right here, right now. I am a little bit curious as to whether or not Gank Squad might throw out something, unorthodox, knowing that they are playing the defending Season 5 Lads champions and certainly one of the heavyweights of this season in DarkW. I'm curious to see if they throw something out a little bit interesting. Oh, I still have this thing on the screen. Let's just get rid of there. We go. That's better. But as expected, we are seeing some supports being banned out. We're seeing Batrider, who is the not support hero, being banned out, but otherwise, Coddle, Witch Doctor, Snapfire, all fairly strong support heroes on current patch. I like the Batrider ban a lot, actually. It's a hero that can lane into Puck. It's a hero that does well into Monkey King in terms of being a high scouting vision hero. And then we're going to see Viper and Tusk bans. Spending out the flexibility and the tankiness of Viper, hero that can lane into Puck, hero that can lane into Monkey King. And then Gank Squad instead is ban out stronger 4 in the patch. Or I should say one of the stronger 4s in the patch being Tusk. We do have a lot of the good heroes are banned. Oracle is still available if either team wants a more 5-oriented hero with a save. But it is a little bit hard to tell. A lot of it might just be a comfort thing in terms of who wants to play what at this point. What heroes to say Guam want to play. A lot of Guam's signature heroes are banned. Obviously, Guam's certainly a Wyvern player. That one's long banned at this point. Sasquatch can play a lot of different heroes, so I'm not particularly concerned in what he's going to be playing. They could always go IO. I'm pretty sure Sasquatch does play a pretty decent IO if they want to go for that sort of stuff, but I don't think that's really a likely option. And we will see Grimstroke. That's probably going to be a 4 for hype, but it could be a 4 DP and a 5 Grimstroke as well. So there's a little bit of flexibility still available in this sense. And now if you're DarkW, it's like, alright, we're starting to see stuff come together. Probably going to see some like Ursa Grimstroke type lane as a possibility. So, right, what do we need to pick to lane well into these heroes? They still have a lot of possibilities. Both of the heroes presented could not be in the off lane. They could just pick 2 different heroes to lane into that right here, right now. A lot of the premier off laners of the patch still available. Beastmaster's still in the pool. Mars still in the pool. Sand King's still in the pool. Obviously, Mjon able to play a wide variety of weird heroes if they want to go off meta as well. So I'm a little curious as to what we're seeing here for this offlane duo pick. The rest of you are starting to chip away at the reserve time. Both teams are halfway through their reserve time at this point. DarkW thinking really hard about this third pick of theirs. And here it is. We have a Clockwork. So that's a very interesting one. Probably their 4 hero, probably 4 ET. Obviously, could be a 3, could be a 5, but I'm highly expecting it to be their 4 for ET. I'm not sure if I've seen his clock before, but I'm sure he plays a pretty mean clock. And now for Gank Squad, okay, they picked Shaman. So they're thinking, alright, let's put Ursa plus Shaman in the lane, run the Grimstroke 4, put the DP middle. In DarkW, snap pick Veno. We actually did see Veno very recently from DarkW. I believe it was actually in their last series in Lads. Up against Step Bro, I'm Stuck. Mjon played a Veno 3. Did not have the greatest of results, and I'm sure Mjon wants to run it back and say, you know what, I am Mjon, I'm one of the best offlanes in this league. I can play all these different heroes. I will pick Veno this time. I'm going to kite this Ursa around. I'm going to be an absolute menace, and I'm going to own this game. And clearly DarkW still have belief in Mjon's ability to take over a game on Veno, despite the somewhat rough performance last time. I think it makes a lot more sense this game. I think it's a, got a Birdman in the chat saying that me, Guam, and the boys are playing a CSGO 5 stack in 45 minutes, which is a little bit interesting because I know I'm casting this game and Guam is playing in this game, so I'm just gonna go to the chat and just put a little, let's put a B-lol in the chat. There we go. I'm gonna give that one an interesting. Either way, though, all is well. I just had to check my Discord real fast. There was a bit of a miscommunication in terms of stuff, so I am alone tonight. Thought I would have a co-commentator, but it's okay. I am here. We might have him here for game number 2. You never know in that sense. Either way, though, looking at that last phase of bans, got a Void Spirit being banned, we have a Leshrac being banned. So perhaps both teams think there's a possibility that these heroes might be what is needed to put things together. I think maybe we have both teams might think, hey, both teams might go for a mid, might be, say, a DP in the 3 role. Maybe Gank Squad think, alright, they might just go some what, puck support or... Yeah, that'd be, or it could be puck 3 with Clockwork plus Veno supports. I'm not sure what both teams are thinking right now. Obviously, I have to be talking to, you know, like Zaire, Guam, Handingzy, Sasquatch to really get an idea of what these teams are thinking right now. But either way, we are coming into the ultimate ban of Game 1. We are starting to run out of reserve time for both teams, so there won't be too much time to think of these last picks. DarkW will have 1 minute reserve time to think about their last pick, the penultimate pick of the draft. And then Gank Squad will have just 20 seconds of reserve time, plus the extra 30 seconds to think of their pick, so... we'll have to see. They even banned the Broodmother out. I've never seen Handingzy play Broodmother in my life, but I would not put it past that man to play Brood Handmingsley plays to win. For anybody who does not know, this man plays to win, so he certainly would pick Broodmother if he wanted to play it or if his team wanted to play it. That's for sure. Apparently, we have some fans of Venomancer in the chat, which is a little bit interesting because I don't think anyone's actually a fan of Veno. I guess there's at least one fan of Veno. I would call it one of the more boring heroes in Dota in terms of what he accomplishes, you know? Conceptually, doesn't really do too much, kind of slows things. But it will be a mid-invoker, so that's a little bit interesting. That means we'll be seeing Monkey can carry for Apex, Handmingsley play mid-invoker probably, or it could be an invoker support. Actually, there's a lot of flexibility here, because it could be the Puck middle, could be the invoker middle, could even possibly be like a Monkey or a Venom middle. I think it'll probably end up being invoker middle, Monkey safe lane, Puck off lane, Venom clock supports, but that's hard to tell right now. There's a lot of flexibility in what DarkW has as a concept, and I've talked at length about the value of having flexibility in the draft for what you can put middle lane, and Gank Squad do the exact opposite of flexibility. They're like, alright, we are going to pick Lone Druid. It's going to be excessively obvious where we're landing it. Lone Druid middle, Ursa safe lane, Death Prophet 3 roll off lane, and then I guess it'll be Shaman 4, Grimstroke 5, rather than the other way around. Thought it might be a Grimstroke 4, Shaman 5. Hype, certainly a very good Grimstroke player, so instead we will be seeing Guam take up the Grimstroke. And for DarkW, instead of being a Puck 3, we'll be seeing a Puck 5. We will be seeing Mjon on the 3 Veno, as I said before the Invoker pick. Will be a Handmingsley. New patch has been dropped. You said there's a new patch? Uh-oh. I'm gonna actually look this one up real fast, because that is, That instantly throws a wrench in game 2. Oh god, Birdman, no, don't tell me there's a new patch right here, right now. This is... So, they nerfed the shit out of Batrider, and they did a little bit of nerfing to Beastmaster, and they kind of nerfed Shaker's Shard pretty significantly, and... interesting. Now, there's some nerfing to a lot of different heroes here. That's a huge nerf to Nyx, actually. No longer applies Break of Vendetta. Wow, that's... And a higher cooldown level 3 and 2. Nerfed OD. Praise the Lord, they nerfed OD. And, oh, 2 nerfs to OD? Sick. They nerfed Ricky. They nerfed Puck. So overall, I mean, this is a relatively smart patch. Heroes that need to get nerfed got nerfed, so... We will see if that affects the drafts for game number 2. I wouldn't expect too much to change, other than maybe Batrider not being contested, because obviously that change to Napalm was a big deal as to why Batrider got picked in the first place, but that's irrelevant. We are now in game number 1 of this series between DarkW on the Radiance and Gank Squad on the Dire. If you missed who's playing what, it's on the screen. Certainly a bit of a weird draft here from DarkW, but I vibe with it. I certainly vibe with it. As expected, Clockwork is going boots first, going to be doing a little bit of stuff. So the question is, how is Guam going to trade with him in this lane? No, it's going to be Hype playing... Yeah, no, Hype's probably going to rotate bottom. No, it's Hype. Huh. Thought we've seen the Hype playing bottom lane this game. He's playing top lane. Currently brawling with ET, but both have boots. Yeah, there's the Gale. That'll be First Blood. Question is, to who will it go? And First Blood will go to Mjon. Hype is now dead. Was caught out a little bit too far. Thought he might be good with those boots. Turns out he was not good with those boots. Was caught by a different hero with boots. We're seeing the Panda Bear Lone Druid summon. Doing a little bit of scouting. Taking some damage from the likes of ET and Handmingsley, but... overall, everything's fine there. Alright, where are the runes going is the question. Sasquatch and ET are posturing extremely aggressively. And Gank Squad, no. Question is, can they stop it? There is the rune taken by Sasquatch. But ET should be fine. He has those boots as well. He's being slowed up by Orvenom and by Eddie. He needs to get more roots on that bear. Can he get them? And the answer is no. It'll be 3 runes to DarkW. And ET simply walking away took a lot of damage. But he's going to be okay. He'll simply walk to Fountain, regen that up, TP top lane, be good to go for the laning phase. It's already a fairly good position for DarkW, getting those 3 bounty runes and that first blood before the horn. About all you can ask for. And it's very bold play calling by, probably by Sasquatch or whoever made the play calls there on Radiant to go for that aggressive posturing into the Dire jungle and then over into the into the Dire tri-camp afterwards. It's bold. I love it. Either way, though, a little bit of brawling in both side lanes as expected. Sasquatch taking some damage. M-John taking some damage. This is one of those laning phases. It's going to be hard to tell where stuff's going to happen. I'm going to do my best to catch the action, but I think there could be deaths in either of these side lanes. Certainly a lot of kill potential with these heroes. I don't think there'll be a kill middle, but you never know. That's interesting. Sasquatch not opting for phase shift. Opts for the silence, says, I don't even care about trading with Guam. I want to maximize my kill potential. Courier should be fine here. Sasquatch goes. Oh, wow, Sasquatch! That was actually sick! That was actually so sick! So because he actually didn't skill phase shift, he orbited away defensively, jaunt in, hit the courier. I don't care about that death in the Venom. That's actually so next level. Either way, the Venom did die top lane, was run down by Shaman and the Death Prophet. That's actually so sick. Either way, he'll go pull now. And we will reset a little bit in the mid lane. That Bone Druid Bear is taking a lot of damage mid lane. He has already used the resummon, and the new bear is down to less than half health. And both supports in the safe lane are pulling. Sasquatch has been pulling bottom. Hype has been pulling top. And as it currently stands, the lanes are going about as expected. Nobody's pulling ahead too far just yet. M-John not having the greatest of times currently, but I'm sure he'll be A-okay there on that Vena. The question is, will these lane swaps pay off? Gank Squad did go for a lane swap, putting the Death Prophet and the Shaman top. They are going on hype here. Cogs are used, as is Battery Assault. That's a lot of damage to the Shaman, and it will go to M-John. So overall, not great so far. Apex's Courier did die bottom to Guam. Meanwhile, I believe the items did get off it, but I don't actually know. Meanwhile, top lane, they are diving Shrek. Siphon is due. He does have a Fairy Fire and an Urn, so M-John is very, very deep here. In comes ET. He's the backup. Down goes Shrek. Can they get counter kills here? Radiant Wave is now dying. The Glyph is popped, though. Another heads-up play to keep that wave alive, to keep the dive going, but they're not going to find anything more. Hype does have Shackle. Will use it. Can he get the kill? Has level 1 Ether Shock. Needs 2 more hits, I believe. Will not get them. In comes ET. Has that Battery Assault, but ultimately there are not enough there to do it. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Guam taking a lot of damage. They're also going on to Apex. Down goes Guam. Can they get more kills? In goes Eddie looking for Apex. Boundless Strike not used in time. Eddie still alive. Goes for kill on Sasquatch, and he will get it, but not before Sasquatch throws the orb out. It's a 2-for-2 trade. My god. This is incredibly clowny going on bottom lane. All 4 heroes that Brawl died. So ultimately, the Boundless Strike not being thrown out. Apex a little bit greedy there, delaying that Boundless Strike and actually dying, possibly resulting in the death of Sasquatch. But either way, a 2-for-2 trade. Meanwhile, top lane, Shrek, a little bit isolated here. Does have 1 more Siphon charge. We'll use it on ET. And ET opting not to go in there, not knowing where Hype was positioned. Had that Observer Ward been placed earlier, they might have known, but they did not have it down just yet. I believe that is their 3rd ward of the game. Looking over at mid lane, a lot of farming going on as expected. The one lane we haven't really looked at too much this laning phase. There's a Shackle there onto M-John. There is no Siphon, however. It is still on cooldown, so just a little bit of mana being thrown out. Haven't looked too much at mid lane. It is 30-4 for Lone Druid, ahead of the Invoker at 23-5. as expected. A lot of damage there between the Lone Druid Bear and the Lone Druid proper. Sasquatch grabbing that bounty bottom. And you look at the other bounty bottom as well, so Sasquatch is being very, very annoying in regards to these runes. We'll be 3 for 0 currently in terms of bounties, with 1 bounty being unclaimed. They will go on Shrek top in the meanwhile. Battery Assault is used. Income Hype. Is there a save? There is no save. Shackle was used, but he'll probably die as well. The right clicks of M. John. Battery Assault, not in range. Ultimately not needed. Simply too slow to escape. As it currently stands, DarkW at the lead in this very, very brawly laning phase. We're seeing a lot of brawling in multiple side lanes. And it's going the way of DarkW. They are at the kill lead, they are at the bounty lead, and they are at the net worth lead. Sasquatch, he's being very, very annoying with this puck currently. Just throwing out spells, dodging with phase shift, just disrupting Guam and Eddie's time down here. Gale is thrown out. Actually hit on 2. There is Battery Assault. This is a dive time. They have Hype in the cogs. Siphon is thrown out, but Hype will die. Can they get counter kills? Shrek, looking for M. John, has no charges of Urn, however, and has no mana for Siphon. Can pop the Mango. Will he pop it? He goes in, misses Crypt Swarm, and he actually might even die to ET here. Rocket Flare is there in 1. Rocket Flare double kill for ET. And this top lane is an utter and complete disaster for Gank Squad. And now Gank Squad will look for Sasquatch bottom, has Phase Shift, will silence. Phase Shift did not get over the cliff, tried to get up onto that cliff, slightly missed there on that positioning, and Sasquatch will go down. Part of the reason why this Gank Squad top lane being a disaster, being a problem, is because Death Prophet went for an Urn first. Has not acquired a charge yet for that Urn. So, without getting any Urn charges, that item is just having a rough time. And ET, who's had a fantastic game so far. He's once again postured aggressively, looking for more. Sentry Ward is put down. There's a Gale, though. M-John needs 1 more hit to die. They have not found him with that Crypt Swarm. Throws it out. Will get the kill to Shrek, filling up that Urn finally, but he might go down. He goes down to ET. Gets that Observer Ward in the meanwhile, but that's still not a great time. Once again dying. That is the 4th death for Shrek the Green Knight. Tornado is thrown out, but there will be no kill middle. And looking at Apex, he has headed into this jungle. He says, you know what, I am good to jungle with these power treads. I will let Sasquatch get some farm bottom, get some levels, work on that Dream Coil. However, Gank Squad don't want to let that man farm. He will phase shift dodge the Inkswell, and he will now orb forward, will not die just yet, and Eddie will even TP away. Stroke of Fate will miss, will not hit there, so Sasquatch fine, Eddie fine. And DarkW committed a lot of heroes to just being bottom in general, making sure there wasn't any big gank from the Gank Squad. It's ultimately probably a win for Gank Squad, simply not dying there. And ET with the hook in, grabs double damage. He's Battery Assaulted and Cogni's there. Is there coming in from Apex? He coming in. He has down strike available, will use it, and it will be a kill to Apex. Even pops the Jingu there with that last hit. Another huge kill there for DarkW. And another heads-up play from ET. This man is out of control. He's 5-0-4 on this 4 clockwork. Absolutely insane. Not sure what Guam is saying Sag about. Had to have been something bottom. Not particularly sure what. Either way, though. Looking at last hits, neither team last hitting particularly highly thanks to all the brawling going on. Lone Druid has been on top, followed by all 3 of DarkW's cores. M-John has recovered pretty nicely in that sense. Looking over at net worth, there's 4 heroes of DarkW in the top 5 of net worth, including E.T., the 4 clockwork, who was 3rd overall in net worth. Dear God. Meanwhile, they'll go on M-John. Gale is thrown out. Enrage is there from Eddie. Purges it off. They're going in and will be killing M-John. Can they get more? They're brawling with ET. He pops Battery Assault. He is not silenced by Guam. Gets that off him. Has Hook available with no mana for it. Sasquatch orbs into the trees. He'll be okay. Yeah, he'll silence out now. And now, Shrek, top lane, starting to work on that top tower. Has thrown out the exorcism, but isn't doing too much damage. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they are looking for Eddie. Is there a hook? It is thrown out, a little bit ambitious, runs into that creep wave. He gets even tipped, which is a little bit weird considering the way ET has played this game, but Sometimes you gotta throw out those tips. Meanwhile, Rune, Sasquatch did not grab it. Will he kill Eddie? And the answer is probably not. Sunstrike did miss from Handming Z, so will simply be a death for Sasquatch for his over-ambition, looking for that bounty rune and possibly for a kill. Ultimately, found neither. And with that tome, he will have, I think he'll have 6 from that. If he's not 6, he'll be very, very close. Dream Coil will obviously be a big game changer in terms of those exact sort of plays Sasquatch has been going for. But overall, Gang Squad have done a decent job in recovering what was a very bad laning phase. They were down by 2k gold there, and they have brought it back, never mind, back to 2k gold again. So it's not great, but the gap has not gotten larger yet, which is a good thing. They're not letting DarkW completely snowball out of control just yet. Lone Druid is pushing in that mid tower, Mjon pushing in that bottom tower. Both teams utilizing that minute 10 siege creep. Well, obviously Lone Druid Bear and the Necro units on the Lone Druid and Veno, respectively. Looks like neither team will get the tower. Maybe DarkW will get it bottom. Gang Squad is positioned as 2, but it's not enough to defend just yet. Hype is rotating in. He has not TP as it is on cooldown. Okay, bottom tower will die. In comes Eddie. Looks to a tower denied. Will not find it. He's still slowed. And Rage actually is on cooldown, but there will not be a jump unless ET goes for something really crazy. Serpent Wards are dot bottom, looking for Mjon, cancels the shackle, cogs are there, Hype's caught in the cogs, can he get a kill? The answer is no just yet, only 1 kill onto him. Meanwhile, mid lane, looking for Handming Z, they're chasing him down, he's slow but over Venom. Deafening Blast though will save him for now. Is there more follow-up? The answer is no. And overall across the map, it's 1 tower and 1 kill, both in favor of DarkW. Lone Druid looking for Mjon. EMP is popped. No kill just yet. Coil only onto 1. And looks like everybody will be fine. Just a little bit of damage being thrown out onto those DarkW heroes. Looking over at ET, who has been popping off this game, is going for a drum into a 4-staff item build. That's somewhat interesting, the drum, but it makes a lot of sense. Allows him to chase down heroes, gives him some stats, allows him to continue the momentum he's got this game. Looking over at Apex, we haven't really paid much attention to this game. He is working on that Maelstrom. We'll undoubtedly go for a Maelstrom into an Axe this game, I'm expecting. And as it currently stands, after these 3 creeps, he will have finished that Maelstrom. DarkW, they are doing some work onto that top tower. Gang Squad really not in the position to defend. They are positioned towards this middle lane area, so there will be no defense just yet. In the tier 1 tower, it does go down. So 1 more tower for DarkW. So far 2 for 0 across the map. Shrek trying to equalize that bottom. The hook is in. Is there a cogs? He's cogs him back, but it actually makes the Sunstrike miss. So a bit of miscommunication there from DarkW. The Gale will miss, and Shrek will be able to escape. His teammates are headed this direction to help him out. So ultimately, a bit of miscommunication from DarkW means that there will be no kill on Shrek just yet. Siphon is there on Mjon. In comes Apex. Correction, out goes Apex. He does not want to be in that action. Not just yet. And there are 9 heroes positioned in this sort of area, but it looks like there will be actually no brawling just yet. Neither team wants to really be committing to a bad engagement just yet. Looking over at Ursa, he's actually going for a Blink Dagger rather than a Battle Fury. Wants to be involved very, very early into this game, allowing his Lone Druid to probably be the more one-role oriented hero rather than him. So he's not going for Farm Accelerant, simply going for a fighting item in that Blink Dagger. Might go Blink into BKB. It'll be hard to tell from this stage in the game, but Blink BKB does make a lot of sense. Maybe Blink BKB into Abyssal. Mjon has popped his Necrobook 1. I'm sure he's going for a Necrobook 3. Just being a little bit annoying across the map right now. Looking over at Invoker is going for a Yule Scepter. Opting for the Phase Boots rather than Travels, has Phase Earn going into Yule's. Hook in from ET, Coil is on 2, Sunstrike hitting on Hype, down goes Hype, 1 kill so far. In comes Apex, pops comes Command, Sasquatch topping low. He'll actually go down. Leash is dropped. It's on ET. It's already over though. Bound Strike is on 2. In comes Nova. It's so much damage. How many kills can DarkW get? It's 2 so far. 3. Can they get Shrek? They don't have much follow-up crowd control. Currently 3-for-1. Tornado will miss. Battery Assault is there, as is the Gale. Shrek overstayed his welcome. It's a 4-for-1 in favor of DarkW. And they're now going to start shipping this middle Tier 1 tower with those Forged Spirits. And once again, another great fight from DarkW. Once again, another well-executed fight by ET there on that Clockwork. This man is putting on a clinic on how one should play Clockwork. It is beautiful to watch. Either way, though, Glyph is popped by a Gank squad. Tier 1 taking a lot of damage with that Siege unit, with the Plague Wards, with all the damage it's throwing out there. But if Tornado is there, it'll probably just end up being... Never mind, it will be killed by M-John. It will not get denied. And they are looking for M-John. The Bear is there. Gets an entanglement. Is there any follow-up stuns? The answer is a Hex. You know, a little bit more. Shackles will miss some hype, but they're actually not going to need the Shackles. He will get them with the Ether Shock. Sasquatch? Yeah, Sim's doing a little bit of harassment with that orb, possibly scouting out that Gank squad team. And Shrek pops that Exorcism. They want that Tier 1 tower. The Siege unit has arrived. DarkW pops that Glyph. This tower is probably dead. The Defenders, not currently there. ET is bottom. Apex is top. They are actually TPing in the Clockwork, looking for some counter kills. I believe ET did show there, so they are aware the clock has TP'd in, but there still is only 3 Defenders. M-John just now respawning into the action. And overall, Gank Squad doing what they can. They did say, alright, we lost the mid-Tier 1 tower. We'll get a Tier 1 tower right all back. So now neither team has their own Tier 1 tower. Looking over at items. Looks like M-John actually not going for the Necro 3 just yet. Has a mech currently going into Guardian Greaves. Possibly wants to purge off a Silence or whatever else. Maybe a root there from the Lone Druid Bear, as we saw in that last fight. Speaking of that, Gank Squad are located bottom lane. DarkW have smoked. Sasquatch coming in. Coil not being thrown out just yet thanks to a Silence. Soulbind is on 2, as is Hex. In comes Siphon. In comes Hype. They want whatever they can. It's a double shackle. However, in comes DarkW. Sasquatch is down, so is Hype. There's so much damage being done. Guam goes down on their end of the fight. And Zaire, a bit isolated, pops the true form, but he's not staying alive for much longer. The urn is on him. All these heroes are hitting him. Deafening Blast is thrown out. That's 3 kills for DarkW. Only exchange for Sasquatch. Sasquatch certainly early casualty in that fight. A lot of crowd control being thrown at him. He wasn't able to actually get any spells off, but he is absolutely fine with that trade. 3-for-1, plus a lot of damage onto this Tier 2 tower, perhaps. Yeah, they are still hitting. The Glyph is now over for the Dire. They still do have some creeps. Alacrity is there onto Monkey King. Stroke of Fate, thrown out, does miss. They are now aware that Guam is there on that Grimstroke. In comes ET, forces forward with the Battery Assault. A bit ambitious, but ultimately to no risk for himself. And looks like the Ursa will not be going for a BKB, actually going for a Basher first, probably into an Abyssal Blade afterwards. I'm curious to see what Sasquatch is going to go. I'm going to expect a Blink Dagger, though. Would make a degree of sense. Probably won't get caught out by, say, a Grimstroke Silence if you can simply Blink Coil 2 heroes early in the fight. Speaking of that, he is scouting out Guam. Looking at Dire Vision, don't really know too much what's going on, but they are backing anyways. M-John is sitting on this high ground. He's very far forward, but he'll simply walk away there. A bit too much slow. Too many Necro units in the way for Dire to effectively chase him. And one thing I actually haven't really mentioned is Dire really lacks great catch. I didn't really mention it in the draft, kind of just didn't notice it. But they really don't have an obvious hero that's going to go catch things. Part of that will be solved with the Ursa going for a Blink Basher, but it's not the greatest solution in the world. That is one of the big problems with Death Prophet in the offlane, is it just simply lacks the ability to, you know, blink in and stun somebody, or walk in and stun somebody. And they do have some good crowd control, but they don't have the greatest catch. Sasquatch is scouting, being very annoying. Did put a ward down earlier, but he gets dewarded by Guam. Silence is there, looking for Sasquatch. They will find him. But that one we are going to call a space creation. That's a lot of time being wasted. Time which his team will start hitting that Tier 2 top. But they won't finish it in time before Gank Squad shows up. Looking at DarkW's vision, they see a little bit of what's going on, but not everything. In comes Shrek, pops a Siphon, cogs are used. Soulbind is on both. Hammingsy will go down. Will the clock go down as well? And the answer is yes. Does get Yuled up by Shrek the Green Knight. He will die. So good movements across the map there for Gank Squad. They get 3 kills on the Invoker, on the Clockwork, and on this Puck. And they keep their tier 2 top alive as well. But unfortunately for them, they are starting to run into a Monkey King issue. He has finished his Aghanim Scepter. He is currently the hegemon in net worth. Has 10,000 net worth. He's getting absolutely huge. And they're heading through a Roshan pit. Ursa in the pit, as is Lone Druid. Roche is down to half HP. Mjon is there trying to throw out some spells. But this Roche will die very, very quickly. It's time for DarkW to defend. Nova is popped. In comes Wukong's command, as is down the strike. Coil was on 3. Aegis, however, will still go to the Ursa. Down goes Shaman. Lone Druid dropping low. Not dead just yet. Tornado just a little bit too short. And now, once again, looking for Eddie. Gale does miss onto the Ursa. He's now being Inkswell, trying to run away. Stroke of Fate's being thrown out, but they are not keeping line for too much longer. Kill will head to Sasquatch. Now, they're looking for Shrek, as well as other kills on their side. Will find Guam. Can they find Shrek? And the answer is yes. 4 kills to DarkW, and an Aegis being popped. Zaire, the lone survivor of the fight. And once again, we get back to these more 5-on-5 type team fights. It's an absolute disaster, especially with that positioning at the Roshan pit. We saw a 3-man Coil, we saw, I think, a 3-man Poison Nova. Wukong's command was here, completely uncancelled in that Roshan pit area. So much damage being thrown out with the Maelstrom, plus the Aghanims there. Sunstrike being used. They're trying to kill that bear, and also trying to kill Hype. They'll kill the bear, and with the hook in from ET, they will also kill Hype. Soulbind is on 2, but there simply isn't too much follow-up. The follow-up is dead, and they will also find Zaire. Gale will miss, ultimately not needed. DarkW, they're now dying, looking for Guam, looking for... Actually, Eddie comes in to try to help him out there. And now we're seeing a TP in from Shrek, who is respawned. And Sasquatch, still on the run, will finally get earned by Death Prophet, will die to that Crypt Swarm. But overall, a pretty successful dive there for DarkW. They kill a lot of things, including both Lone Druid and his bear and the Shadow Shaman. Though they will not get the tier 2 middle just yet. They will find Mjon, though, for a Gank Squad on that retreat. So, DarkW overstaying their welcome a little bit. Possibly high morale from that Roshan engagement. Playing a little bit loose and dangerous. Losing 2 kills on an extended trip on Dire's side of the map. Either way, though, DarkW certainly still in the commanding position. They are up by 14k net worth. They are up by 10 kills. They're up by a handful of towers as well. In Gank Squad, they want to say, you know what, we need to keep momentum going. We need to posture aggressively. They're drawing circles. Radiant, they did scan, perhaps with an idea of it happening, but Gank Squad actually not too grouped together. I don't believe that scan actually caught anybody. Sasquatch heading forward onto that high ground, scouting around for wards. Ultimately did not find any. Apex going on Shrek. He is in. Exorcism is popped, as is Yule's. Down the strike is still there. Wukong's command is popped. Down the strike is there. Shrek will go down. It's an absolute disaster situation for Gank Squad. DP goes down, and she commits her 140-second cooldown ultimate. Sasquatch looking for more. Gets bashed up by Eddie, so it is a 1-for-1, but it is a 1-for-1 in favor of DarkW. Silence is there on Apex. He's stunned up. This is a huge counter kill as well, though. So now with Apex going down, DarkW will look to possibly be on the retreat, possibly push out these side lanes. Hammingsy is in top lane, and in comes Eddie looking for Invoker. He's one more hit. Hype is there with that Hex hit, and once again with our bash, we'll see a kill there onto Hammingsy. So now 3 kills on DarkW across the map. And Gank Squad doing what they need to do to try to get back into this game. They're even looking for more kills in middle lane, but Zaire is extremely slowed there by that Gale from Mjon. And now Gank Squad, they are once again grouped as 5. Do they have smokes? They have a smoke there on Hype, and they have okay, they have no smoke on Guam. They are shoving in the mid lane as 3, but looks like there will be no push today. John has set up some wards, so nothing much done just yet. They are now fully grouped as 5, but they are only fully grouped as 5 once DarkW are fully alive. Looking at the Radiant Vision, they're not fully aware of what's going on here. They might have some inkling. Dire, scan their tri-camp. No Radiant heroes are in there. They're drawing an arrow bottom, but if they do that, they are only going to find Sasquatch. So even if they do find him, it's not the most significant kill in the world. Instead, they double back, look for Hammingsy. They saw 4 spirits. Smoke is popped. They're stunning him up. The bash is there. Down goes Hammingsy. Can they find more? The answer is no just yet. AT, along the side, might hook in here. Wukong's command is popped though, as is Poison Nova. Eddie dropping very low. Slowbind is there on both of those DarkW cores. Certain words are dropped, trying to do whatever damage they can. Siphons are on 2. Hook in by ET did kill Guam in the meantime. Now Shrek on the retreat. Sasquatch drops that coil. And he's certainly going to die here. Can he take anyone with him? The answer is going to be no. Shrek the Green Knight dies eventually to Monkey King. And actually, Sasquatch did die at the very end of the fight to the, I believe, the urn. Yeah, the urn of Death Prophet. So Sasquatch, it's a little bit too much damage to him. Overall, though, a 2-for-2 engagement was the Puck and the Invoker for the Death Prophet and the Grimstroke. Not a great engagement for Gank Squad, though. They were not farming the map at all. They fully 5-man smoked. They wanted a huge engagement. They did not find it. Only found 2 pickoffs for 2. And instead, ET comes in looking for hype. He hooks him in there, but now ET might just die. Pops that BKB. He's on the run. Eddie needs to hit him. Will he go in for it? Trying to find it. He'll actually retreat. So it's a full retreat from Gank Squad. They do not want to keep pursuing ET's clockwork. So ultimately, neither team got what they wanted. ET wanted a pickoff, could not find it on hype. Gank Squad wanted a counter kill, also could not find it onto ET. ET being saved partially by that BKB of his. Used his 10-second BKB charge. That also kind of tells you what kind of game you're in when at minute 27, the enemy for Clockwork has a 10-second BKB, and it's honestly not that crazy. It does make Dire's job a lot harder, though. A lot of these heroes, especially the 3-3-5, who rely on having the ability to cast spells on heroes. And for ET, who normally might end up being a casualty after hooking into an engagement if he's out of position, well, suddenly this pops BKB, and now it's going to rely on the Ursa and the Lone Druid to hit him. And if the Ursa and the Lone Druid are focusing a 4 Clockwork in the team fights, it's not a good sign for Gank Squad. DarkW, they're drawing circles. They're aware of where Gank Squad are. So they're being a little bit aware here. They have smoked up, possibly looking to catch them walking into their own tri-camp. And Gank Squad will smoke as well. Seeing both teams are smoked. Apex pops Wukong command. Sasquatch taking a lot of damage. Poison Nova is popped, as is Cataclysm. Down goes Hype. A lot of damage coming out. Buyback from the Shaman. ET dropping low. He'll force out. Down goes Eddie. And right now it's still a disaster for Gank Squad. Guam goes down. Shrek taking so much damage. He's now fighting, trying to stay alive with those siphons. The Deafening Blast, though, actually is still alive. Earlier in the fight, Lone Druid is taking so much damage. Fighting up there with Apex, but Apex actually losing that engagement. Shackles are there from Hype. Down goes Apex. Shrek still alive, actually. In comes Ursa. He's brought back. Down goes Mjon. Shrek finally goes down to Sasquatch. And there are shackles there onto Hammingsy, and Eddie is trying to fight. Can they find the Invoker? He self-fuels. Is there more help? In comes ET, hooks in onto Hammingsy, but with those cogs, the retreat will be secure. Silence is there, canceling those shackles, and the fight is still going on. DarkW playing on this high ground, but they're running out of HP and they're running out of heroes. Sasquatch going down here. Can they find more? The answer is no. Ultimately, though, it was a very costly fight there for Gank Squad. They did pick up some kills. They killed Mjon. More importantly, they killed Apex there. Apex being caught on the other end of the fight, not on the action. Was shackled up by the Shaman, was man fighting the Lone Druid. ultimately did not go too well for him, assuming Lone Druid got some good roots there. But even though they got some key kills, they lost a lot of heroes, and they used 2 buybacks, both of the Shaman and of the Ursa. So a very, very costly fight win. Even if you can call it a fight win. Actually, I would call it a fight win. But still, it was very costly for them. In DarkW, they do not want any situation to get out of hand. They say, you know what, we lost some heroes there, but we need to capitalize. We can easily come together and end this game now if we want to. Actually, never mind, they are splitting up. They're not ready to end just yet. Looking over key items. Apex is headed over for a Gleipnir, has that Aghanims finished, has that Scotty finished, so he's just being a very disruptive man in the fights. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Shrek and Mjon, they're in a 1v1. Siphon is popped, and he will retreat with that Glimmer Cape. He can pop the hood if he needs to. He actually just might need to do it right now. ET does have hook, but he'll hook in. He hooks in onto Shrek. Battery Assault is there, but the creeps are helping him tank. But with his teammates, Shrek will eventually go down. Boundless Strike does miss from Apex, but only delays the inevitable. Down goes Shrek the Green Knight. Meanwhile, Sasquatch, on the other end of the fight, pops it. Aghanim's coil there onto Lone Druid. He'll be caught for a very long time, actually. And now in comes ET. We'll go onto Lone Druid's Sun for 4.5 seconds. Actually, only 3 seconds. Soulbind is there onto 2. Sasquatch has blinked in. Shrek does buyback. Exorcism is popped. Shaman doing what he can, shackling up 2 heroes, but ET's still alive, as is Apex. Will they finally find Apex? Apex goes down, as is ET. Cataclysm is popped, finds no kills. A lot of damage to that Lone Druid. And now, DarkW on the retreat. Mjon popping wards, trying to retreat there, has Gale into. Guam goes down. Meanwhile, 2 of the monkeys there at the end from Apex. But residual monkeys, nonetheless, Mjon will still go down. It's a 3-for-2 in favor of DarkW if you count Shrek's earlier death before the team fight. And unlike the last fight that was very costly, this one not so much. Only a Shrek the Green Knight Death Prophet buyback being used for, ended up being another kill there onto Apex. Okay, that's a buzz. From Hammingsy, they're asking for 1 second. See here, what's in the chat? We got people talking about Darkseer builds. The best Darkseer build is to rush Aghanims first because Darkseer Aghanims is very good. It's very powerful. If you are not going Ags as your first or at the very least second item, you're probably making a mistake. It is extremely powerful. Either way, though, looking over at the actual Dota game, Sasquatch is now going back for a blink, did opt for the Aghanim Scepters in order to potentially stun up some heroes. Had some very long stun in the team fight on both Lone Druid and his bear, but it's almost like, it's almost somewhat weaker because they actually don't have BKBs. Yes, they have a BKB on the actual bear, but that's their only BKB. There is none on the Ursa, there's none on the main Lone Druid, there's none on the Death Prophet. Sometimes you expect more than one BKB to be available, but this time, they actually don't have BKBs. Dire, however, they are into a Shaman pit. They're trying to capitalize on Apex not having buyback. I'm not sure if they know that, but either way, they will go for it regardless. Sasquatch is scouting things out with that orb, but there will be no snatch here. Aegis, never mind, Sasquatch is actually in the pits. He might just die here for that. He has coil if he wants to pop it, but if those gets hexed, he'll get bashed. Went for a crazy play, ended up simply dying. Dire looked for more. We're not able to find anything. And they will simply have that Aegis and that cheese. Will be the Aegis on Ursa, the cheese onto Lone Druid. And Gank Squad, they're like, you know, we're not giving up. Doesn't matter what kind of hole we're in. We're going to do what we can to try to win this Dota game. Guam missing some spells middle lane, but it's okay. Sometimes you miss Dota 2 spells. In comes Mjon, Nova, and Gale are there on Guam. He might just die to that damage. Question is, can they get Mjon? Cataclysm is dropped, does a little bit of damage, but ultimately not too much. Boundless Strike is there, as is Gleipnir. Slowbound is there onto Mjon and Apex, but they will still find the very important kill on the Lone Druid, as well as one on Guam. ET hooks in, looking for Hype. Shackles is cancelled. Gale will be there, and they'll find a third kill onto Hype. Can they get more? Shrek is TPing. He gets away, but overall, absolutely disastrous engagement for the Gank squad. They said, yeah, we're doing good. We're ahead. We have Aegis. We have Cheese. We've killed Apex twice in the last, 6 minutes. We're good to go. Turns out, no, you're not good to go. You're dying on 3 heroes, and it was an absolutely golden situation. They might have lost there with that Aegis and that Cheese. Might have been their best chance to get back into this game. And now DarkW, they are once again charging onto the dire side of the map. They have a wave coming in, top wave. They have double Forge Spirits available if they want to chip this high ground. They're getting a lot of vision into this dire jungle area. And they will certainly find a tier 2 middle if they commit to it. They are hitting it on Sasquatch. They need a little bit more help. With that Plague Ward, alright, with Hamlings it'll be enough. And now Radiance. Do a little bit of damage top lane, but ultimately the tower is still fine. Only a little bit of damage, 10% of that tower's HP gone. They may instead, though, go in, Blink Gale from Mjon. Once again, looking for Guam. This time, though, with that Glimmer Cape, not so dead. And Poison Nova actually is still on cooldown. It is up now, however, if they once again want to go for a similar play. Huh. Either way, though, for DarkW, they're not going to go in and die just yet. They're just going to keep working on those key items. They're pretty rich on basically everybody but Sasquatch. ET, very close to Heaven's Halberd even. And even then, Sasquatch is close to his Blink Dagger. Gank Squad are going forward. Shrek, once again, is Galed. He will use that off, but he is still slowed by Plague Words, but they should be A-okay. Actually, a very good Ice Wall there from Handmingzy. They are going to look for that bear. A Spirit Bear will die there. The question is, will they get more? Mjon went in, popped Poison Nova on 2, did not use Gale, and it will simply be a Panda Bear, Spirit Bear dead. Dire, fully on the retreat. And it's likely there won't be no other kills just yet. Dire simply in a relatively good spot on their high ground. Either way, though, looks like DarkW will stay very deep into Gank Squad's side of the map. All 5 are still positioned relatively close to that high ground, looking for Gank Squad to make some kind of mistake. They do have siege units coming in, doing a lot of damage to these towers. The bottom one in particular, about 3/5 HP. Top one's actually pretty fine still. Close to 4/5 HP. They are picking out Hamlings middle. They may look to jump, but the problem is their jump very bad. So possibly an errantly positioned Invoker is going to be absolutely 0 risk thanks to that. Either way, though, Dire, they are looking to smoke. Is it on... Okay, Guam had it in his backpack. DarkW appeared to have some idea what's going on there. They did Rocket Flare trying to scout this area. And Gank Squad are now going forward. They're looking for something. They don't want anything on DarkW. Have a great sort of high ground attempt. They want Sasquatch, but it's not the greatest kill. They will find the puck. The question is, can they find more? Mjon, though, extremely far forward. That might be their kill if they can find it. But it's still a very difficult kill. He has Guardian Greaves. He has E-Blade. And now, Gank Squad no longer have an Aegis of the Immortal either. It's a very tanky illusion, actually. Yeah, they have the Illusionist Cape finished for Apex. However, the real one, though, has a Gleipnir there on 2. Hype will go down. Looking for Shrek. Meteor is down. He's very, very low there. Does he have Yules left? He has an enemy Yules, actually. But he will go down. As will Zair, actually, to simply the residual monkeys there. And now Guam goes down as well. It's a 4-for-1 engagement. Once again, not great there for Gank Squad, and DarkW are now onto the high ground. There's a buyback from Guam. There is a buyback on Zair if they want to defend as 3. But the problem is 3 defending, still not enough to defend. Mjon blinked in, looking for a Nova. Actually did not hit it there on Guam. Simply a zoning poison Nova. And they've gotten one set of barracks middle. They're looking for another set of barracks bottom. They're still hitting it as 4. Defenders still have not respawned. Hyper respawning in 15. Zaren 35, but Shrek not for 65 more seconds. Mjon was looking for Eddie. Did not find him with that Gale. Now they're going for Mega Creeps. Guam throwing out Strokes of Fate, trying to defend, but there's no Alacrity Monkey King hitting the buildings. Buyback is there from Lone Druid. They've shackled up Mjon. Soulbind is there on both. Is there any kind of kill? In comes the bear. Inkswell is there. In comes the Ursa. But he is being kited around a little bit. Enrage is popped. Guam already dead, as is Hype. Both supports are down. Neither have buyback. Buyback from Shrek. Just got his buyback. Now they're looking for Eddie. They go in on Apex. They definitely blast there. Kill goes to Hammingsy. They're fighting up Shrek. He'll have no buyback either. He probably will go down here. Yeah, down goes Shrek to Green Knight. And Zare, he also bought back. Has that cheese. He pops. He's simply running in circles. He knows this game is over. Buyback is popped. And there's a GG. Overall for DarkW, an unbelievably strong victory. From before the horn even went off, they were ahead in this game. They got the first blood before the horn. They got 3 bounty runes, and they won both their side lanes while being relatively even in the mid lane. And that lead only really got larger once the laning phase ended. For DarkW, they've proven why they are one of, if not the best team in League of Lads. Absolute slaughter over Gank Squad. And despite Gank Squad's best attempts, they had some good pickoffs there on DarkW when they were playing a little bit too loose, playing a little bit too split. It was not enough to really put up a significant resistance. I'm going to see if yeah, lobby is not up just yet. I was going to wait on the lobby for Game 2 to come up. I just realized I'm going to need to reload Dota. So I'll do that now rather than later. We do have the 7.28C balance patch. It is a relatively small balance patch, but they nerfed some of the very strong heroes at the highest level of Dota. I see many of those heroes bleed down and get played at this level of Dota, where it's a respectable but not pro level of Dota. The biggest nerf, though, has to be to Batrider. Sticky Napalm no longer deals 50% less damage against all... Sticky Napalm once again deals 50% less damage against all creeps. That was the big change in the last patch that made Batrider so strong. With him having the ability to effectively do double damage with Sticky Napalm, meant that his farming ability got not twice as fast, but a good bit more fast. But now that will be changed. It will be much harder for him to, say, kill a 4-stacked camp of Ancients. It will still be possible, but you will have to have a few more levels into your abilities to, say, clear a stacked camp of Ancients. His farming in general, much slower thanks to this change. So its early game acceleration will be not severely, but moderately inhibited. Either way, though, outside of that big change to Batrider, Beastmaster, base attack speed was reduced from 110 to 100, as well as the Call of the Wild Boar had its movement speed reduced from 350 to 320, scaling to 350 at the highest level. So now Boar Not as able to simply kite around 4 and 5 supports. Earthshaker. Fissure, Shard, Aftershock, Replication now stuns for half duration. Certainly hurts the ability for Earthshaker to completely lock down heroes, simply dropping Fissure, plus the Ag Shard Totem, plus like Echo Slam on literally 0 heroes. So now with that change, I would what the? Oh, is it capital? Okay. I would actually no longer expect to see too many Echo Slams on the ground, simply for the Fissure, Shard, Aftershock stun. Keeper of the Light got nerfed. Recall delay at lower levels of recall has it changed. Was 3 at all levels, now is 5, 4, 3 scaling. Lycan Summon Wolves duration decreased by about 10% from 55 to 50 seconds. Morphling got a little bevy of nerfs. The highest level of Morph cooldown has been increased from 40 to 60. Morph Scepter bonus cast range has been reduced from 600 to 300. And the Morph Scepter now... actually, correction. The lowered cooldown on a Morph Scepter now will reduce Morph cooldown by 20 seconds. So effectively speaking, if you do not buy Scepter, Morph cooldown goes from 40 to 60. But if you do buy Scepter, Morph cooldown will not change. That's an interesting way to change it. Either way, though, I actually kind of like that. So it's a nerf in the sense that you need to, but the highest ability of the hero doesn't really change as much. Nature's Prophet, greater Treant base attack time has increased from 1.0 to 1.4. So certainly a nerf there to those greater Treants from Nature's Prophet. Nerfs the Ags there a little bit. Nyx Assassin, Vendetta no longer applies break, and the cooldown has been increased at both level 2 and level 3. Level 3 cooldown has changed from 50 to 60. Level 2 from 70 to 75. So certainly a nerf there for Nyx. I don't know who Rhythm is. Is that it's not Handmazy, right? Yeah, it's not Handmazy. I actually have no idea who Rhythm is. Maybe he's standing in for Handmazy? I'm not entirely sure just yet. Either way, though. We are seeing a nerf to OD. His base movement speed has decreased by 5, from 325 to 320. And his base armor also has been reduced by 1. So OD, no longer able to trade as effectively. And that will actually be doubled down, because now Arcane Orb, which had a 4-3-2-0 scaling cooldown, now has a 6-4-2-0 scaling cooldown. So level 1 OD, much weaker than before. It'll take him a little bit longer to really be great in the laning phase. And the Astral Imprisonment mana cost was increased from 120 to 150. So just a good series of nerfs there on OD. 3 different really structural nerfs, being both to his base stats, 2 different nerfs there, to the Arcane Orb, a nerf there on the cooldown at lower levels, and Astral Imprisonment mana cost increased. Those nerfs might actually affect OD, but the fundamental stuff there that keeps him strong, not too much different. Puck has base damage range reduced from 46 to 57 to 46 to 54. So on average, Puck's damage will decrease by 1.5. I'm assuming it's an equal distribution of all the numbers. So that means on average, Puck will do 1.5 less damage. And on top of that, Winning Roof damage has been reduced at higher levels. Still starts at 70, but now instead of ending at 280, will end at 250. And the Dream Coil Scepter stun duration has been reduced at higher levels. Used to scale from 2 to 4.5 seconds, now only scales from 2 to 4 seconds. Ricky, the Tricks of his Trade is no longer increased by Aghanim Scepter, so very necessary change. Ricky was a little bit too powerful there with the Tricks of the Trade, especially when he was fully itemized. Now won't be as powerful in that sense. And on top of that, the Tricks of the Trade cooldown reduction at level 25 talent has been from -6 to -4. So now the uptime on a fully kitted out Ricky is much lower on Tricks of the Trade, and that's beautiful to see. And then looking back at the patch, we're seeing a nerf to Shackles. It's a Shard reduces. Shard used to give a plus 150 cast range buff. Now only gives a plus 125 cast range buff. And Void Spirit's base damage was reduced by 2. And finally, Wraith King was nerfed. 2 different nerfs. Wraith Fire Blast at lower levels used to have a 14-second cooldown scaling to 8. Now it's 17 scaling to 8. And Vampiric Spirit's Skeleton's base damage has been reduced by 3. So, that's nice to see. It's nice to see the Skeletons being a little bit nerfed as well. But now, we are, waiting on the game to start. I'm going to mute my mic for a second, drink some water. Alright, here we go. We are now going into game number 2 of Gank Squad up against DarkW. We actually are seeing a bit more stand-in issues for, a little bit more stand-in issues for DarkW. They were, missing Sasquatch last, series. He was playing in another tournament, the grand finals of another tournament. And now that we missing Hanmingzi, their middle laner, for game number 2. Not sure why he's gone, but oh my god, Guam tagged it up wrong. Guam! Alright, so Guam tagged up to his team, had a game 1 victory, so I'm gonna have to go, okay, let's go adjust this to DarkW 1-0 Gank Squad. Ay, 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 ay. You would figure the league admin, the head admin at that, would be able to properly tag up his team, and properly tag up the lobbies, but apparently not. It's okay though. Just like the bans have not changed too much. One major exception is Monkey King is being banned this time. Obviously made it through the ban phase last game. Was picked first phase for Apex. Was played well by Apex. Either way though. You'll see a first pick. Tusk was banned second phase last game. This time we'll see it picked first overall. Actually, gonna grab a little bit more water. You can never have too much water. I'll be right back. And when I come back, I will expect a few more heroes to be picked. So I'll have something to talk about. Luckily, just go turn down. Put a little BRB water. Is that BRB water? That is not BRB water. Let's change that to BRB water. Yeah, that's my dog. I'll be right back. Alright, what'd we miss? We missed absolutely little. Let's see here. Let's put that off the screen. So we are seeing Keeper of the Light get picked. It was banned game number 1. And we are seeing Invoker, this time picked a lot earlier into the draft. Perhaps with the change in mid laner. As it's a change in middle lane heroes being picked. And we will see a Juggernaut get picked. First phase this time will be almost certainly picked and played by Eddie. Don't think we'll see too many lane shenanigans this time around. Though DarkW already have at least one BKB piercing disable for that Jug. They will have the Walrus Punch, so Spin TP might not be on the table as a pure split push method, so as a result, I'd be a little bit surprised if Jug opts for the Midas Bots build, because I'm not sure if the Midas Bots build is going to work particularly well if, say, Tusk has a Blink Dagger, so we'll probably see a more standard Jug build, probably with either Maelstrom into Manta or Bee Fury into something, instead of the more new age Midas into Bots build. But I'm not the one playing Jug. We'll have to find out when things end up happening. Either way, though, we are done with the first phase of picks. A lot of reserve time actually being used by DarkW. They have already they're currently missing their drafter Handningsy, and as a result, they're also missing their team captain who has the team tag. So either way, though, that's why they are tagged up as Fickle Minds. They are missing Handningsy. He was the only one with the team tag, apparently. Apparently, he did not invite his teammates to the team. Either way, though, we are now getting some more bans coming out. Ursa being banned was obviously picked the last game. OD being banned once again. Shaman being banned once again. This time Troll being banned now. I'm not sure if he was banned game number 1 or not. I can actually check that. Let's go check that. Let's see here. So Troll was actually uncontested in game 1 apparently. Was not picked or banned. This game it does get banned out, so it is a little bit different. Either way, though, we are seeing a Veno banned out this game. They don't really want to play M. John's Veno once again, apparently, so that's probably not going to happen. Either way, though, it is time for Gank Squad to pick some kind of support hero, I'm assuming. Something with Disable, ideally, to pair well with this Coddle. Coddle obviously will go Aghanim Scepter at some point if he's playing the Coddle correctly, so that will at least provide some level of stun, but they will need a little bit more Disable before that. Reserve time being shooed away. We are still waiting on the next pick. Hard to tell what they'll do just yet. Maybe they want to save hero like Oracle. Instead, though, they will delay that pick for later. They do pick the Pangolier for Shrek the Green Knight. Certainly one of his more played heroes, so should end up going to the offlane. Should get played by Shrek, and hopefully we'll have a pretty good game. They might be ready for it, but it's hard to tell just yet what's going through the minds of this DarkW side. Alright, here we go. Got a Doombringer coming out, so obviously a bit of a weird pick. I don't see too much Doombringer in the current patch, but it makes a good degree of sense. Certainly a hero who works well into Juggernaut. A hero that can be good into Pangolier, so The off-meta pick might just pay off here for DarkW. They'll probably be playing in 3, which means it might not go that well in the lanes. They will have the Doom Tusk. Hypothetically, that lane might go badly for them, but I think in practice they have a lot of potential to get kills with the tag team of the Tusk. If somebody on Gank Squad is out of position, or say, I don't know, Jug spins on cooldown, there's certainly potential to simply just tag team and hit heroes. So I think that lane's going to be a lot of execution. And Gank Squad go for Sand King, so maybe it's a Pango middle instead of a Pango 3. Possibly even a Pangolier 4, hard to tell just yet. We'll have to see once we get past the pick screen here. Alright, now I'm a little bit confused as to who's doing what here on DarkW. But if I had to guess, it's probably going to be an Enigma 5, and then a Tusk 4, Doom 3, Invoker 2, but there's certainly a degree of flexibility here in terms of what DarkW has drafted. We are now into that last ban phase. So we'll have to see what exactly we end up doing here. I think for Gank Squad, they're probably just going to end up looking for a middle laner with that overall last pick. Zer did say in the intercession between the games that he wants a cheese pick. So we could see some kind of cheese pick middle. For Fickle Minds, probably a carry. They're going to want somebody who can lane well into the Sand King plus a Pangolier. That will be their expected lane. Though it could simply be a Pango middle, and they could be picking a different 4 here, depending, or even different 5. It's hard to tell what they even want to have lane here. This is a bit of a hard situation to draft in, actually. Probably just end up being whatever's comfortable for Apex here. Whatever's like, hey, Apex, what do you think you want to play here? I'm not sure what they can pick necessarily to do extremely well in the lane. So maybe it's like, alright, what hero do you think can execute well in the middle game, possibly? And Gank Squad's to be banning out Slark, banning out Anti-Mage, expecting it to be a carry last pick. I almost think we might see something weird here. I'm not sure what weird is just yet, but I'm feeling something weird. Okay, that's not too weird. That's Weaver. So here who has the range to possibly carry things around, and Gank Squad snap picks Silencer. It's a pretty decent Silencer game. Obviously, Weaver, a hero you want to silence, and a hero who wants to also delay is BKB, a hero that often opts for a Linken's instead. So Apex might have to go like second or third end BKB. Obviously, Enigma, a hero that does not want to play into Global Silence. So Sasquatch probably just going to get silenced once he can find the silencer in the black hole. Tusk, a hero who wants to do a lot of saves. Might not be able to thanks to Global Silence. Obviously, Invoker, also a hero that does not want to silence. It actually is a pretty good game to play Silencer. That should be a relatively fine lane for Zaire there. I would be very concerned, though, about a possible ET gank. Obviously, Silencer, one of the more gankable heroes in the game, and Cold Snap plus Tusk plus Tag Team plus, I don't know, some kind of errant double damage rune could easily kill a Silencer. And we will see Pangolier 4 and a Sand King 3, so yeah. And if we're wondering who the stand-in for Handwing Z is, it will be Coair. I actually don't know too much about Coair. I know he's been around like the RD2L adjacent sort of amateur scene for a while. I'm not sure how good he is at this point. If I had to guess, just based on this being a LAS game, he's probably a mid 5K or so player. Let's see here. Looking at the all chat, nothing too interesting. A little bit of all chat coming out from Gank Squad, but ultimately just like, hey, don't ban Meepo, this sort of meme sort of stuff. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Get ready for a showstopper, boys. It is time for Game 2 of DarkW versus the Gank Squad. If you're wondering who's playing what, it's on the screen right now. I'm checking my OBS. Actually, we'll put it right here, I guess. That'll be fine. Yeah, that'll work. Ignore the thing in the top of your screen. Once again, lobby was tagged up improperly. Can I get a badge here? I cannot get a badge here. Either way, though. We are seeing relatively boring stuff in the early game this time. We saw extremely aggressive posturing from DarkW last game. They found a first blood on hype. This game, they only have 2 heroes in the top lane, and even then, yeah, Doom's certainly not a hero who can trade very well this early into the game anyways, so just some Quelling Blade being used, some trees being killed. Looking at bottom, nothing too crazy. Both teams relatively playing far back. ET being a little bit cheeky, but will probably end up being no kills here. M-John's very far forward, actually. I don't think Dyer's aware of that, so he might just like grab a range creep with Devour early on, and then use his second Devour once the jungle creep spawn. Yeah, that appears to be the idea. He might even just TP away from that once that happens. Bounty runes this time will actually head over to Gank Squad. Will be 3 this time. Was ended up being 3 bounty runes for DarkW game 1. This time it'll be 3 bounty runes for Gank Squad. And as expected, M-John did grab that range creep. Already gone. He's headed back over to the lane. And for Sasquatch, he actually opted to deny the melee creep rather than deny the range creep. A little bit shocked he didn't deny the range creep, but I guess he's not going to affect the equilibrium too much with the melee creep being dead versus the range creep being dead. And actually, Sasquatch denies both creeps. Oh, that's very, very sad for Shrek. That's 2 wave 1 creeps being denied, both the melee creep and the range creep being denied. So Shrek was going to be so sad this laning phase. It's laning into this 5 Enigma. Coddle is trying to disrupt ET, who did grab that wave, simply dragging it under this tier 1 and tier 2 tower. So DarkW getting very creative with the laning phase this game. Had multiple different heroes cutting near the tier 2 tower area. Guam is sticking with them now, not letting ET simply farm that wave. Is staying on the wave, dropping Illuminate even to grab that range creep, not letting it be denied. And now ET, with Guam finally killing all the Radiant creeps, will be able to grab some farm of his own. M-John cutting wave. This is a, I'm going to call it a relatively odd laning phase, but either way. Dire creeps finally under tower. They have finally come to the end of their journey. They will die here at long last. The sweet relief of death has come to them. And now M-John's now cutting. He's once again being disruptive. He's not letting any kind of normal laning. Like, DarkW is just disrupting and completely preventing any kind of standard lane to happen. He's letting the Dire Wave double up here. So this is just everywhere you look, other than the mid lane, DarkW is doing this really creative stuff in the lanes. Obviously, Sasquatch is denying a lot of these creeps. Instead, though, they will go in there with the Maledict. But Shrek will be completely fine. Mango is popped, will be used on the range creep in the next wave, so we will slowly see DarkW get ahead in this lane, simply because there will be less range creeps for Dire to have. Shards were used. Guam is trapped in there, but there is no follow-up today. M-John actually does not have an ability just yet. He has solely been devouring lane creeps. A little surprised he hasn't gone into the jungle to grab some kind of ability from this hard camp. But he has been applying as much pressure into the lane as possible. Tag team was used top. Illuminate was popped. Spin is there. M-John TP's away. Will he die? He does die to Guam. Obviously assisted there by a lot of spin damage. First blood will be drawn by the Gank Squad. And ET simply will get these creeps, so there will be no diving being done, I don't think. Especially with Spin being on cooldown. Illuminate is popped, just a little bit of damage being done there to ET. He'll be A-okay. A little bit of dancing going around these range creeps, but yeah, now tag team being popped. While I'm taking a bit of damage, but he'll be just A-okay. So there is shards in the snowball, actually. There might just be a kill here. There's a lack of mana. He needs 3 more hits. There is no Orb of Venom, but there is Tranquil Boots. In comes M-John, and M-John will get that kill here eventually. And yeah, there will be a kill there on Guam by M-John. There is no saving that man's. Looking over at bottom, Hype taking a lot of damage there. He'll be fine though. He's a Pangolier, has a healing salve. Looking over at last hits, as expected, it's going relatively well for the Dire in the bottom lane. Apex is 20-2 versus Shrek's gonna die here. Shrek playing under the Radiant Sentry Ward somewhere. Ends up going down. I mean, what the? Either way, Koar gets a solo kill there on the Silencer. Very shocking kill. Either way, though, very good kill for Koar to simply find a soul kill there on the Zero Silencer. Did not expect that, actually. Obviously assisted there by that double damage rune. It's a somewhat shocking kill. I mean, the lane was going relatively evenly middle before that, but certainly that first kill in the middle lane will draw a huge advantage for the Invoker. And then looking at top lane, so far CS has been in favor of the Jug. He is 21-7 versus Doom's 12-1. So yeah, both carries having a good time. Mid lane in favor of the Invoker. About as expected. M-John is alone top lane. ET did rotate, possibly to look for middle lane. Unable to find anything. Same is relatively true bottom. Hype did leave for bounty runes, but Shrek did not get gone on, so no action top lane. And now we're looking for some kind of situation where Shrek might try to go for some kind of kill attempt with that burrow, with that caustic damage, but Apex is a little bit too healthy for that. Still has a tango, is positioned relatively defensively, not allowing level 1 burrow to really hit him and cause too much damage. Top lane, Guam is positioned very interestingly, and they will go on Eddie. Snowball is there. They will actually dodge the Illuminate with that. So they were expecting an Illuminate there. And they will do a good bit of damage to Guam. Shards are there. Guam will eventually go down. The question is, will there be more? Probably not. Looking over to bottom lane, we're seeing a bit of brawling going down bottom. Swarm was used. They're going in on Shrek. Burrow is there as well. And Shrek should be fine. Question is, will Hype be fine? Has shield crash, but he needs one more hit there from Apex. Tower actually hitting Apex. But with South being popped by both teams will be fine. No deaths will happen in bottom lane just yet. Hype, though, will probably have to go to base. Yeah, he's going to have to go to base, unless he just buys some more regen here. Correction, he's buying South. He's staying in there. Let's see here. Invoker is Quaz Wex. Again, this game is going on Zaire. EMP is popped, doing a good bit of damage, but he's pretty much out of spells. Silencer trading well in terms of right clicks, and Koar's running out of HP. But Koar will be fine here. Actually has spells up again if he wants to try something interesting. Might go for a solo kill attempt here with that Tornado and the Cold Snap. Luminate being popped top lane, but ultimately nothing really happens there. Over to bottom lane. Correction, top lane, they actually are spinning there on M-John. M-John goes down. Snowball was used, trying to save him, but was not used in time. E.T. simply TPing away. They will not kill him in time. They'll TP down to that tier 1 tower. And in the meanwhile, they actually do not go on Shrek bottom lane. There is a dust available as the Sentry Ward. Pulse is dropped. They're looking for Shrek, and they will eventually find him, I believe, especially with that dust being popped. The burrow was there, but it's not enough to keep him alive. Top lane, Illuminous being popped. We're going to see some more brawling in this top lane. Another 3-on-2 engagement, perhaps. E.T. and M-John are going forward. M-John grabs an ability finally. He does have that Troll Nets. Omni Slash is popped. M-John taking some damage. Is there more follow-up? Solar Bind is there. Snowball is there, keeping him down alive for now, but he'll eventually go down here. Doom is dead. Silencer, very mad in the All Champ. The top lane shards are being used. Good shards by ET, keeping him alive. And Silencer currently not happy with Sasquatch's grabbing of the 8-minute rune, I believe. Either way, though, he's now trading with Shrek. Both of them will be fine. Yeah, I believe Zera's regen rune was... I'm not really sure what happened there. Either way, though, Zera a little bit tilted. His being gone on by the Invoker has been cold snapped. Is now going to walk away, though. Has his spells on cooldown. Dire are positioned very deep into this Radiant Tricamp. I think Guam's is farming, however. Looks like the Eidolons might just die bottom, but more importantly, looking over at top lane, like to see a brawl there. M-John has popped that Scorched Earth. He is going forward. Hype is fighting ET. Both of them will be able to be walking away. It'll be fine. Bottom lane, Shrek simply sitting in that Sandstorm. And we are seeing Ping's top lane. They might try to go on him now. Dire's still positioned at this dry camp area. Guam farming. And ET, never mind, ET not able to take that creep there from Guam. Guam just going for an Aghanim Scepter, so certainly the correct item build this game. There is spin there on Eddie. Does not go yet, though, onto M-John. Does not have backup. Zer TP's bottom lane, but DarkW is very aware of this. They are pinging him out. Top lane, spin is there, trying to kill M-John. Bounty runes mostly headed over to Gank Squad. M-John actually did use the Doom there. Possibly scared of that Omni Slash. Shards will miss, but now they're on the dive. Looking for Eddie. But he has spin again. Spin is popped, as is the Global Silence. They're now TPing in. Lam is there. M-John will go down, as does ET's Courier. ET gets a counter kill with the Walrus Punch, but they have no way to cancel that TP. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Zera is fighting. It's a 2-on-3 fight. He goes down. Malphus is there. Onto Shrek. Is there detection? Do they have detection? They actually do not have detection. So Shrek will be fine. Being a little bit greedy here, might get caught out. He'll TP away, though. Actually gets canceled by the cold snaps. He'll be there a little bit longer. In comes Apex, looking for Shrek. Shrek actually has no mana for spells. Taking some damage. He's one more Shikuchi. Tornado will miss. Will he go in? He actually does go in. In comes Eddie, however. It's Omni Slash. It's there on Sasquatch. Down goes Sasquatch. He's going in with the Phase Boots, maybe looking for a spin on Apex. That's not an easy kill. They will actually kill Sasquatch's Courier in a tip from Eddie. Interesting tip there, but I guess you kill the man, you kill his Courier, and you might as well give him some gold for the, I should say some Dodo Plus shards for the affair. Either way, though, looking over to Hero Net Worth, Jug is slightly on top, followed by the Invoker. Weaver and Doom not too far behind. The rest of the Dire team having a relatively rough time, except for Guam. Guam actually pretty farmed. Eddie fighting bottom, looking for Apex. Time-lapse is there. Eddie goes down despite that spin. Black Hole simply went through. The tip going out onto Eddie. Tit for tat. And now Apex tipping Sasquatch for that Black Hole. ET, however, might just die top. He tried to snowball, stay alive, and he actually ends up dying there to the right clicks of Hype. Coer has showed up. Tornado, it's on 2. EMP is dropped. Will hit on Guam and Shrek. Guam actually will tick down, though, to this urn from the Invoker, so... Across the map, we're seeing a 1-for-1 top, we're seeing a 1-for-0 bottom. And we're seeing Zare hitting creeps. They are, however, pinging out the middle lane. Perhaps they are looking for Zare. Sasquatch is very deep middle lane, killing the Courier, but more importantly, the hasted Invoker, ice walling the Silencer. In comes Apex, Swarm is dropped, Meteor on the ground as well. Silencer will die, and there's a tip there onto Zare. DarkW is like, you know what, you want to tip us? You guys want to tip us? You guys are 3-15, you want to tip us? 3-16 after last game? We'll tip you right back. Either way, though, DarkW once again ahead after the laning phase, up by about 2k. They're diving in. There's an Alacrity Weaver looking for more. Unable to hit the shards on Guam. They will have a cold snap him, but that will not be a kill just yet. there will be no more kills middle lane. Possibly there will be no kills top lane. Never mind. We are seeing offlaner on offlaner brawling action, and we are seeing Eddie simply farming bottom lane. Apex is on the run. Took a good bit of damage actually from the annoyance of Hype and Zare throwing their abilities at him. And Eddie is now looking for Sasquatch. Black Hole is Omni Slash is once again up. Is used. Finds a solo kill there on Sasquatch. Sasquatch was a little bit too far out without any Eidolons or any teammates. M-John does kill Shrek's career, and in comes ET. They want a kill on the Sand King as well. And with that Walrus Punch, Shrek goes down. Man's career goes down, the man also goes down, and now Shrek, once again off to a relatively rough landing phase. Either way though, Coer is positioned very aggressively middle lane. Was possibly looking for something, was not able to find anything, but now DarkW appeared to be pressuring a little bit of stuff in the top lane. But with Shrek TPing in though, might not go too well for them. M-John is very deep, under tower. Gets Burrow Strike, takes a little bit of damage there from that tower as well. Still over half HP though, does have that hood. A little bit too tanky to go on very easily. They are, however, setting up there on two heroes. Guam is in the area, but DarkW also has backup coming in. Sasquatch has arrived. Black Hole is up in just 20 seconds. Zare's TP'd in as well. Question is, does DarkW know? I would guess not. The global is up, and Zare is looking to finally steal some intelligence. Currently, he's stolen 0 intelligence. Wants to get some on the board. Meanwhile, bottom, Apex and Eddie are fighting. We'll see that later, though. Either way, Epi was canceled a little bit. Black Hole is there. It's on 2. Doom's being popped. Zare will be unable to silence. ET goes in with the snowball. It's a 2-for-1 engagement so far, with Sasquatch being traded for the Sand King and the Silencer. And that is how the engagement is going to end. Simply too much available. And Gank Squad was not grouped enough to really save their teammates from the black hole. They have now arrived on 3, but they also don't have the Pangolier ultimate anymore. M-John simply TPing away. Takes a lot of damage on the retreat, but simply able to TP. No stuns to stop him. And once again, another good situation for DarkW. In terms of number of kills, they trade favorably. They also get this tier 1 tower. It goes down. Either way, though. Jug has finished the Maelstrom. Is trying to push in a tower top lane, but with the arrival of Radiant Heroes, there will be no pushing of the towers. Zare actually has TP'd in again. He does still have global if Dire still want to fight. I'm not sure if they're aware where he is on the map, but he has actually, yeah, they'll see him under this ward, so they are aware that, hey, Gank Squad want to fight. Omni Slash actually was popped, was wasted. M-John brought it over to the creeps. Tip comes out. And this is not great situation for Gank Squad. M-John, though, might go down this time. Blink in from Shrek with the Burrow. Global Silence is popped. They're throwing a lot there onto the Doombringer, but he's not dead just yet. In comes Apex. Pangolier is in. Has popped that Rolling Thunder. Hitting a lot of heroes, but he actually is stuck in the Ice Shards. Snowball is there, keeping the T alive. They go into Zare. It's the first casualty of the team fight. Epi is there with the Blink. A lot of Radiant Heroes are dropping low. Apex will time lapse. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Now Shrek goes down. It's a 2-for-1. They're chasing Eddie, and they're chasing Hype, and they want this Jug. Spins on cooldown for 5 seconds, doing a lot of damage. Hype is there with the disarm, but now it's in a Black Ready Weaver. Spin is there. Is there a TP? It's available, but he does not actually use it. Malthus is there on Pango, and Eddie will die to the Meteor of all things. Hype, though, able to TP out in time. The Orchid was used, but there was not enough to cancel that TP. But overall, still another great engagement for DarkW. 3-for-1, and they once again will take a tower, being the top tier 1 tower this time. Meanwhile, bottom lane, ET looking for Guam. Was a little bit too far forward, trying to farm up that Aghanim Scepter. Does have 2 components, and he actually will try to escape here. He is very fast, has those Tranquil Boots. Sunstrike, right idea, did not hit. In comes ET though with that snowball, and he will finally find Guam. And a tip coming out to Guam this time. Okay, we're seeing a lot of tips this time. DarkW not happy with being tipped last game and earlier this game. They're throwing out the tips in full force. I am overanalyzing tips again, but it's okay. Overall, DarkW are ahead on every single one of their heroes relative to their dire counterparts, with the exception of Guam, who is slightly more farmed than... actually, he's well more farmed than the Enigma for using that as the benchmark, but he has more farm than Tusk as well. Correction, that has just been closed as a gap. Speaking of Tusk, he is forward looking for Guam, is now on him, has popped the tag team, Mauler's Punch is there, Guam will go down, Sasquatch is there with that black hole. Can they get more? Hype dropping low, Global Silence is popped, Rolling Thunder though is cancelled by that Orchid of the Invoker. It's a 2 for 0 so far. They're looking for Zaire, in comes Apex, is there a Cold Snap? There is a Cold Snap and has 3 kills for DarkW. Shrek has TP'd in though, but it is too late. His teammates are dead, and now it's another horrible team fight for Gank Squad. This has been the story of the series. There's just so many of these fights where they're not only are they down economically, but they're fighting with less men, and fighting more men when you are poorer than them, it's not going to go well. And now Eddie has been spotted by DarkW. They're going forward. But Gank Squad also bring in some heroes. Hype and Guam have arrived. DarkW are still 5 in this area. Is there an Omni Slash? There is one there. Has not yet been popped. Cold Snap and Orchid are there. Hype should go down. They've rolled in onto Guam. Guam going to go down here, but there's a Doom there onto Eddie. His healing ward is dead. Mjon did find him with the Doom on the side of the fight. But in comes Shrek though with the Epi, with the Burrow. It's onto Time-Lapse. Will be there from Apex. He'll be fine, but Eddie will still go down. It's a 3-for-1 team fight. Meanwhile, they also find the Silencer. Zaire once again goes down. And now Apex looks for a full 5-man wipe. It's a full 5-man wipe. Ultra kill to Apex, and DarkW are pulling ahead with authority. Up by 15 kills, up by 14k net worth. They're ahead in the towers, and they are simply out-executing the Gank Squad this game. They are out-executing the Gank Squad this series. They are out-executing the Gank Squad this season. And they are trying to get a statement win going into these playoffs. And this certainly is a statement. Despite losing 2-0 to Step Bro I'm Stuck earlier this week, they say, you know what? We are still an extremely strong Dota team. The game's not over just yet. It's not a foregone conclusion, but they are certainly in the driver's seat. They pop the Orchid and the Cold Snap on the Pango. Tornado is there, as is Sunstrike. Once again, down goes Hype. And it's a monster kill streak for this Invoker. Silencer is in the area. Did try to slow them up there with that Arcane Curse, but the T2 tower is still dead. In comes Shrek, Burrow on 1. Mjon, however, they're looking for Zaire in the backline. Zaire already went down. Godlike for Apex, and Guam gets solo killed by ET elsewhere in the map. Back over to bottom lane, they still want to kill Shrek. Is there detection? There appears not to be. Yeah, the detection is not here. It appears only Sasquatch has detection. Sasquatch doesn't even have detection. Shrek on the retreat, but not onto the high ground just yet. Apex is chasing with that swarm. Once again, Sandstorm is up. In comes Hype, in comes that Dust. Rolling Thunder is there. Gank Squad wants to do some kind of turn. Mjon blinks away. Hype taking some damage. He also is doing some stuns. Lacrity is popped. There is the Omni Slash. Can they get kills? Apex actually might go down here. Never mind there. He is still alive. Pop that Manta to get out of the Global Silence. Now he's chasing in. Meanwhile, Shrek goes in. Tries to find something, but Zaire goes down. Epicenter is popped. Snowball is in. Goes in. But the problem is Gank Squad simply melting. And Shrek once again goes down. 4 for 0. Once again in favor of DarkW. Jug, the lone survivor of the team fight. It's once again a disastrous engagement. And the GG is called. They say, you know what? We are done. This game is over. It is a 22-minute GG. DarkW take the 2-0 victory over Gank Squad. And my lord, I believe that is the single most one-sided Dota match I have watched in League of Lads. I don't even know what to say. That was just a clinic on how to play Dota 2 by lads, or sorry, by DarkW. They didn't even have their drafter and their middle laner, Mike Hamningsby. Apparently, they didn't need him to win that game number 2. This was an extraordinarily one-sided game. Once again, they had there was not a great situation in the lanes. Bottom lane was absolutely one-sided. Thanks to that Invoker, thanks to that Enigma, I should say, denying creeps from the dire side. Middle lane was alright for a little bit, but eventually Coair got a solo kill there onto Zare's Silencer, and Zare simply fell behind very rapidly. The top lane was the only great situation, but Mjon and ET still easily able to find a lot of game impact despite not having a great time in the lanes. And looking over at these graphs, apparently Dota Plus actually thought DarkW was behind at minute 10. I don't necessarily agree with that assessment, but either way, they quickly adjusted their projections, and eventually the game kind of snowballed out of control. Looking over at player net worth, yeah, it's a lot of net worth for this Invoker and this Weaver. The Jug was with them for a while, but as the game started, the snowball Jug fell behind. And, I mean, my MVP for the series has to be ET. ET played so well game 1. He played pretty well this game as well. He just absolutely went off in that clockwork, and he absolutely had a good game on Tusk as well. This is why DarkW is considered one of the top teams in Lads. This is just one-sided series. Either way, though, thank you for watching. I will be back this Sunday for Coconuts Gaming versus Toxic Tacos. Hoping that one will be a little bit closer than this affair. Either way, though, thank you for watching. Have a great night.